Hello everyone, this is Danny from Three Kingdoms Games here, and I just want to do a deck tech on a theme that is close to my heart. As everyone in the store knows, I love playing mill decks, and this version is a blue-white mill deck that's in Standard. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at this deck. Basically the whole glue around this deck is one card, and the card is called Psychic Corrosion, right? That's this card right here. Whenever you draw a card, your opponent needs to put the top two cards of their library into their graveyard. Simple, right? The card itself doesn't do much, right? However, if you pair that with a bunch of other cards, you kind of create a nice combo effect that allows you to mill the opponent a massive number of cards per turn. And those, I would say probably the second most important piece in this deck would be this card right here, Fraying Sanity. So Fraying Sanity basically allows you to put into the graveyard, allows your opponent to put into the graveyard the same number of cards that they had already milled that turn. So for example, using Psychic Corrosion, let's say I milled that person 2 cards, Fraying Sanity will then force them to mill an additional 2 cards, right? So, that's great having those 2 cards on the battlefield at the same time. It is great, when you're drawing a card, but I have a whole bunch of other cards that forces you or makes you draw additional cards, right? Obviously, we have opts, we have sensors that can cycle away, we have Supreme Will that can get you a card that then allows you to, to play, let's say, an op. We have Champion of Wits, which allows you to draw 2 cards. We have Hieroglyphic Illumination that can cycle as well as draw you 2 cards, etc., etc. Again, Glimmer of Genius, as we all know, is great in this deck, right? It allows you to draw 2 cards. Scry 2 and then draw 2 cards. And then on top of that, we have a bunch of removal, we have a bunch of defensive spells. So we have Sealaways, right, for single creatures. We have Settle the Wreckage, and then we also have Cast Outs, which does a dual purpose. Basically, it allows you to cycle as well as play defensively and hit against creatures or any other permanent that your opponent may throw at you. Now, our finishers, I would say, are located at the higher curve of our deck. We have a card called Patient Rebuilding, right? So this card, at the beginning of your upkeep, every turn, the opponent mills top 3 cards of their library, and if they mill a land, you get to draw a card, which is great because then it just, that combo will continue to fire off. And then it's a blue-white deck, so we have to have Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We included 1 copy of Pull from Tomorrow, okay? It allows you to draw X cards, so this is a big finisher for us. And we also have Commit, okay? So Commit to Memory allows us to just basically not negate, but counter a spell. And then the memory part is, it's kind of cool because using memory in conjunction with Scavenger Grounds will allow us to basically get rid of our opponent's get rid of our opponent's graveyard, and then basically having them draw an additional 7, which then, and then us drawing 7, basically they mill themselves out by drawing additional cards, and then also with Psychic Corrosion making us draw 7 cards, basically meaning, they have to mill an additional 14. So that type of combo is what we're trying to get after with this deck. Now let's talk a little bit about the sideboard. The sideboard, we have, again, more removal. We have Fumigates, we have Cast Outs, we have Sealaways, and then we have some negates. We have some counter spells for the counter mirror, and then we have an additional copy of Commit to Memory. So that's it. That is it for this blue-white mill deck. Hope you enjoy it, and let's get to some games.